Trudeau has done it again. He really has. He has done it again, and I just think this is absolutely outrageous. You might recall Trudeau was Trudeau was lecturing the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, about how Italy was apparently and supposedly abrogating LGBTQ, I can't say the rest of it, rights, whatever that means. And of course, what were they doing in Italy? Carting these folks off to concentration camps? And she flatly denied there was any reason for concern. But Trudeau made it clear he was going to dress down the Italian Prime Minister for this horrible abuse of human rights. What hypocrisy! This is the guy who abuses human rights perpetually in Canada, whether it's crushing protests from the Freedom Convoy or freezing your bank account or censoring your free speech on the internet. This is the guy who's abusive of human rights. But he did it again. I want you to see this.
The practice for Canadian governments, for my government, we bring up human rights concerns with friends, allies, and challenging partners around the world. And as friends, Canada and Poland will always have frank conversations on the things we're doing together and places where we raise concerns. I certainly raised concerns that we have around some of the reports coming out of Poland around LGBT.
Now, I just want to pause there for a second to say the media reported this story as Trudeau doing this in private. Clearly, he's not doing this in private. He's at a news conference and is dressing down the the Polish Prime Minister. So once again, the illusion of this is that Justin Trudeau is doing this in private, but he's embarrassing himself in Canada yet again.
Rights around democracy, and we had a frank conversation, as must be the case. We will continue to work together on a broad range of things, but we will continue to be there to stand up for the values that matter as well.
En français?
Voilà, okay. Comme est toujours le cas dans nos échanges francs avec nos amis et avec nos alliés, on souligne nos préoccupations, et j'ai souligné mes préoccupations par rapport au reportage sur la condition des personnes LGBT.
Now, I want you to look at the Italian Prime Minister here. Doesn't look very pleased, does he? Can you just imagine what he's thinking? Does this swine, this moron, really think he can get away with this? Here he is raking me over the coals at a news conference. He probably didn't even expect this. But how does this guy have the gall to do this with what he's been doing in Canada? But of course he does.
Et des préoccupations au niveau de la démocratie avec le Premier ministre. Et nous allons continuer de souligner ces préoccupations. On a eu une bonne conversation franche là-dessus, comme on doit toujours le faire. Mais on va aussi toujours travailler ensemble avec nos alliés sur les grands enjeux et les valeurs qui nous unissent.
In Poland, rights of all the human rights and rights of LGBT people are not jeopardized at all. We very strongly put focus on nurturing families, supporting families, and sometimes it is misunderstood by some people as being discriminatory towards some other people, which is not the case. And the best proof of this is that we do not have issues with the European Commission from this point of view, because the normal so-called cohesion fund and other European funds would not be would not be granted for Poland had we experienced any issues from that point of view. Though that's the best proof of this. But on top of this, I can assure you there are no problems whatsoever. There are lots of misunderstanding, I reckon. and I can explain them even more in details, but this is not an issue in Poland.
No, not an issue in Poland, but Trudeau wants to make it an issue. And as a lot of people have pointed out to me this week, if I was a foreign leader and Trudeau wanted to meet with me, I'd say, forget it. Take a hike, head for the hills. I'm not talking with you, because all you're going to do is try to make a fool out of me when you have your next news conference. This kind of behavior is just disgusting. But, Trudeau really thinks he can get away with it.